Yay, here comes everyone. Welcome everyone. Good to see you. Angel with MAPS is going to kick us off here in just a second. I'm Anna Krueger, your instructor today. While we're waiting for everyone to get out of the waiting room, if you are able to turn on your camera, I get so much energy from being able to see you. So I would love if you could turn on your camera, and today's going to be pretty interactive. And then Angel, if you want to take it away, and then I'll pick up after you're finished.
Yes, thank you so much. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, How to Call Old Leads Without Being Awkward with MAPS Coach Anna Krueger. Please note this webinar is being recorded and will be available within 24 hours after this webinar has ended on the MAPS Group YouTube channel. You may find the link to the YouTube channel in your Zoom confirmation email, and we will also drop it in the chat momentarily. If you have questions for your coach, please type them into the chat box located in the taskbar at the bottom of your screen. Following the webinar, if you have any questions about today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's all for me. Anna, take it away.
All right, well, welcome everyone. So glad you're here, and I love to know who's in the audience. So let's use the chat box real quick. Tell us where you are for referrals. And then also tell us your position. So are you inside sales? Are you operations? Are you buyer agent, listing agent? Just so I know who the audience is here today. And then what we're going to cover today is how to call old leads without being awkward. And honestly, we have a lot of people registered for this webinar. So I know this is a topic that you are running into. That's why you're here. So I would also like to know, what do you want to learn from today? So you all set aside some time to be with us live or watch the recording. What is your expectation out of this 30 minutes? I have slides prepared, and I'm also going to tweak it according to what you tell me that you're here for. So my plan is to tell you, one, how do you open a call with someone you have not called? Maybe you don't even know who they are, you inherited a lead. How do you open that call when they're likely going to have no idea who you are? How do you do that? And then we're going to talk through, how do you get into a motivation conversation when you really have no context? Right? Maybe this is a lead that came in 3 years ago. How do you re-energize them and get into motivation when they did not come in yesterday? How's that sound, everyone? So good. Also, can I tell you all a cool fact? Has anyone here watched the Netflix show Amazing Vacation Rentals? Anyone? Okay. Quite a few of you are we're all real estate, right? We watch these shows. So about 8 months ago, I booked a vacation rental. And do you see how it looks like I'm in a yurt? If you watch that show, I'm in the treehouse one. So I watched that show about 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's where I'm going to be in 2 weeks. So that's why it looks like I'm in a yurt. I'm in a treehouse in a yurt. Thought those of you that watch the show might like to know that. And I see Lisa, you look incredibly excited. That was for you. Okay, cool. I thought you guys might like that. Okay, so again, put in the chat box what you want to get out of this webinar, and I will get as much of those as I can around the topic of calling old leads without being awkward. Real quick to introduce myself, in case we have not met before, my name's Anna Krueger. I've been coaching lead generation since 2006, and I've been with MAPS since 2015. And my goal, honestly, is to help you make more money in less time. So if I can help you know how to talk to people in such a way that they become a client, it's very relationship focused, that's going to help you make more money or have more time because your skill will be higher. You're not going to have to work as much to get the results, or both. So let's help you have more money.
Did Anna freeze for everyone else? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, well, I'll shoot her a message really quick.
It must be that yurt.
Yes, it must be.
I was thinking the same thing.
Have any context for who these people are? Can you
Hey,
see
Anna, so sorry, you froze on us a little bit. So I don't know if you want to recap.
Am I back now?
You're back.
Okay, cool. I've been Zooming this afternoon, so hopefully that won't happen again. That has not happened. So what we're going to do is talk through, how do you open a call with someone you haven't talked to in a really long time? And then we're going to focus on how do you get their motivation. So let's say you're calling a lead, and it could be from anywhere. It could be an internet lead. Maybe it's an expired lead that you just have not talked to in forever. They've been in the database for years. And you're thinking, I've got to find some leads, listings, buyers. And I'm just going to call. Yeah, how do I do this? So if the opener you're going to use is on the screen. So you're going to say something like, Hey, Karina. This is Anna calling from the Haro group with Keller Williams. Hey, thank you so much for taking my call today. And let me ask all of you, why do you think we say, thank you for taking my call? There is a reason we do that. If you've taken the class Mastering Inside Sales, you know. So let's see if others can get it before you share. Why do you think we would psychologically say, thank you so much for taking my call today?
Because people don't always take their calls.
Right. It's a genuine expression of gratitude. They could have not picked up, and it could have been another person not picking up the phone for us. That's one. Also, real quick, if y'all can make sure you're muted, just check real fast. The other thing is, if someone says, thank you for taking my call, it is now harder for them to hang up on you, right? Because you just expressed gratitude. So if I said, Karina, thank you so much for taking my call today, she doesn't know who I am yet at this point. She's probably wondering, who in the world is this person? But I just expressed gratitude. She is less likely to hang up on me. Now, to have proper expectations, some people will still hang up on you, but the goal of this pattern is to have less people hang up on you, and that is what it will do. So, hey, Karina, this is Anna calling from the Haro Group, Keller Williams. Thank you so much for taking my call today. Then you're going to say, hey, I know I'm calling you out of the blue. And I like to kind of chuckle as I say that. Why do you think we do that portion? And you can unmute or tell us in the chat box. I love interaction, so feel free to speak up. Why do we say, I know I'm calling you out of the blue?
Acknowledgement, icebreaker.
Yeah, exactly.
It's embarrassing. It's hard.
Yeah. Well, and what I find is a lot of times when you say, let me back up. I learned this by failing and having a lot of people interrupt me. It'd say, who are you? What is this about? Why are you calling me? Does that happen to anyone else? I know that's not just me. And so I thought, how can I prevent?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Yeah. So I thought, how can I prevent the whole, who are you and what's this about? So I added in the sentence, I know I'm calling you a bit out of the blue. And what they most commonly do is they kind of chuckle and laugh with me. And they're like, yeah, what is this? But now when they ask it, we're in rapport. They're kind of laughing because I acknowledged it for them. Okay. So you're going to say, thank you for taking my call. I know I'm calling you a bit out of the blue today. Then you're going to say, a while back, you expressed interest in moving. Expressed interest in moving. The reason we say expressed interest in moving is a lot of people will call cold leads, older leads. Sometimes they do this with hot leads too. And they'll say, I'm cleaning up the database, or I saw your inquiry. And I know, Mary Jo, you heard this yesterday. We talked about this in class. Yet when I hear we're cleaning up our database or we're going through our records, does anybody here like to watch those crime shows where they go down in the basement to get the old files and they go into like, there's the bookshelves with the boxes of old crime and they pull it out and like get the dust off and open it up? That's literally what I picture in my head when I hear we're going through our records. That's what comes to my mind. That's not what comes to everyone's mind. But doesn't it sound databasey? It sounds cold, right? It just, you know, I'm going through my records or we're updating our database. It sounds like they are a file and we don't want them to feel like a file. So what we want to do instead is say, hey, I saw a while back. That prevents you from having to do research to figure out exactly when they came in. It saves you some time. A while back, you expressed interest in moving. That applies to buyers or sellers. So you don't have to feel the burden of, there's this old lead, who in the world are they? Let me do all this research, then call them, and then they don't pick up half the time anyway. Just call and, hey, a while back, you expressed interest in moving. That will apply to every single lead. So you can use that for every single lead. I love what June said in the chat box. She says, your name floated across my desk today. You could say that as well. They might wonder how or why. So June, maybe tell us how they respond to that. But I like that. That definitely sounds better than I'm cleaning up my database or we're going through our records, right? And then the way you're going to finish up this opener is you're going to ask a direct question about motivation. It's not about their timeline. It's not, do you still want to move? That makes it very easy for them to say no to you because you're asking a closed question. You're going to say, hey, what had you thinking about moving back then? Or this isn't on the slide, but I like to say moving is so much work. What has you thinking about that? Or had you thinking about that? So let me put it all together now that we know why we're doing it this way. So it's going to start off, and I might say, hey, Nicole, this is Anna calling from the Haro Group, Keller Williams. Thanks for taking my call. I know I'm calling you a bit out of the blue today. And the reason I'm calling is a while back, you expressed interest in moving. What had you thinking about moving? And I think it's important to have your inflection sound similar to that. We all have different personalities, be yourself, but what you don't want to sound like is you're reading it off of a page. That's what we don't want. So I like to think of it as, I'm just really curious. What made you think about this all that time ago? And you can word that or have the inflection that fits your personality. Just don't sound like you're reading it, okay? So I'd love to open it up real quick on questions or takeaways from that first portion. If you have a takeaway, please share it, because often in class, someone will say, this is what I just got. This was my aha. And someone else in class will say, ooh, that your aha is now my aha. I hadn't heard it that way. So feel free to speak up. What's your aha, or what questions do you have about the call opener? And then we'll keep going in the content today. You got to hear from at least one person, so I know I'm doing my job today.
I love that you took the research out of it from, oh, when did they contact me? Was it a buyer? Was it a seller? What
Right.
property? Is it still? None of that. Just a while back you expressed interest. What had you thinking about moving? That's it. It just simplifies.
Yep, it simplifies it. Well, let's play this out for a minute, and then I'd love to hear another couple takeaways or questions. But let's play this out for a minute, and let's use the chat box for it. If you research before you make calls, which is very common, would you put in the chat box real quick how long that usually takes you? So if you say, I am someone, I usually like to read the record before I dial, how long does it take? And I'm talking just per lead. So not like a lead list, but maybe I'm about to call Serena and I'm like, who is Serena? I'm about to dial. Let me get, okay, got it. Okay, now dialing. A lot of you are saying too long. So I see a lot of 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15 seconds. So could we say, if we're being generous and we're airing down, 3 minutes? I feel like that's being the shortest, almost the shortest that I've seen in here. Everybody write this down, okay? We're gonna talk strategy for a minute. I'm a total nerd about lead gen because it's what I coach. I love it. And it's because I know it's what pays for your college funds. It's what pays your house off. It's what pays for the medical bills. Like, I want you to be an excellent lead generator, okay? Well, we know that a good contact ratio is 12%. Well, let me say it a different way. The lowest that's acceptable is 12%, meaning if I call 100 people, if at least 12 don't pick up, it might not be a good list. Okay. But the average pickup rate, if you are normal, just a normal person having a normal day lead generating, is 20%. Okay. So 20% of people will pick up the phone on average. 12% is like, oh, maybe we need a different list, or maybe time of day. Maybe it's a great list, but I'm calling them at a bad time. So if you ever have a day and you think no one's picking up the phone, take a look real quick. How many people are picking up out of 100? And that'll tell you, is it, maybe I'm just having a weird day and I don't feel like a lot of people are picking up, or maybe you have a bad pickup rate that day. But all this to say, if you're average, that means 20% of people pick up the phone. That's 1 out of 5. 1 out of 5. So guys, what that means, if you take 3 minutes, and some of you said 4, some of you said 5, some of you said 15. Let's just say you take 3 minutes per lead to read the notes, and 4 out of 5 people do not pick up the phone. How much wasted time is that? 4 contacts did not pick up, and I read 3 minutes per person. It's 12 minutes wasted time. 12 minutes wasted time. Also, y'all are going to learn I'm a nerd today, okay? I'm a data nerd. I have timed conversations over and over and over for years. How long does it take to get a client's true motivation, pre-qualify them accurately, and set an appointment that actually shows up? Meaning we're doing a good job. 12 minutes. 12 minutes. That is how long it takes when, on average, obviously some will be shorter and longer, but on average, it takes a 12-minute conversation to set a very qualified appointment. So in other words, some of you might feel a little sick to your stomach, which is good because now we'll change our behavior, right? But if you're taking 3 minutes per lead to read the history notes and you just call 4 people that don't pick up, you just lost setting 1 appointment's worth of time from reading notes for people that never picked up the phone. So can we see how maybe that's why it's hard to hit our contact goal every day, whatever your goal is, you choose. But it's really actually an efficiency problem. It might not even be, you might be very good on the phone, but if you don't actually get to enough people, they never get to hear your awesomeness, right? So going back to this slide, that's part of why this opener is worded the way that it is, because I want to make it so easy for them to engage with you that you don't have to do any research at all, and this would work. So let me read it to you one more time, and then I'll open it back up for questions or takeaways, and then we'll keep going. So this time I'm going to call Bonnie, okay? So, hey, Bonnie, this is Anna calling from the Haro group. Hey, thank you so much for taking my call today. I know I'm calling you a bit out of the blue, and that's because a while back you expressed interest in moving. I'm curious, what had you thinking about moving? And that's your opener, okay? Now, obviously, some people will hang up on you. So if that happens, it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. The goal here is to reduce the amount of people hanging up on you. That's the goal. So let's open it again one more time real quick for questions or takeaways from this, and then we'll get into more of the motivation conversation.
Hi there. Are we going to be able to have those slides after each section you go over?
So this is being recorded, and Angel, feel free to speak up. What's great is they keep me in my lane of teaching and they do operations. So
Okay.
I think it is recorded. And Angel, where would they find that?
Yes, it's going to be in the MAPS group YouTube channel. I will post a link.
I was
here.
more talking about, because I was taking notes, but it was very helpful that you had put that up on the screen because it allowed me to take a picture really quick.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, feel free to take a picture of the slide. We don't share slides just because it's copyrighted info, but you're welcome to take a picture if you're not able to write fast enough for it. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. What questions or takeaways do we have? Anything else? Tracy says, what if they don't answer? Do you leave a message? Yes. And I'll give you a quick tip on how to leave a voicemail, and know that that's a whole hour of training in the Mastering Inside Sales class. So how many of you, I'm actually incredibly curious, please use the chat box. Everyone do yes or no. There's 213 people, so I want 213 responses. How many of you have had a training before on how to leave a voicemail that actually works? Oh my gosh, you guys respond so fast. I barely had the question out and the chat box started flying. Looks like most of you are saying no. Some of you that are saying yes, I recognize you from class. So I know where you learned it. A lot of people think voicemail doesn't work. Voicemail totally works. The thing is, most people haven't been trained on how to leave a voicemail. So why don't we do that real fast and know that it's a full hour in class, so give you the best I can with the time we have. How about that? So here's the magic formula to a good voicemail, and then we'll move on. So in a good voicemail, obviously identify yourself, and then give them a reason to call you back. So in this example, I might say, you know, it's a colder lead. I actually don't know anything about them. I might say, hey, Susan, it's Anna, calling from the Haro group. And I'm calling you because a while back you expressed interest in moving. Call me back today so I can help you win in today's market. We just helped one of our buyers win a multiple offer today. Call me by 6. My number is blah, blah, blah. I look forward to hearing from you. I know you didn't write that fast enough. This is recorded. You can write down that was 20 minutes in, and you can re-listen to that little snippet, okay? But let me give you the meat of it. Identify yourself. Very quickly tell them why you're calling. A while back you expressed interest. And then give them a reason to call you, just a snippet. And in that voicemail, what was the reason they should call me? What did you hear?
You just got somebody's offer accepted in this crazy market.
Yeah, I want to help you win in today's
Win.
market. We just helped a client win a multiple offer today. Make sure you say something that's true. But use a story. Use a story from your market center. If you're a single agent, lean on your market center. That's the beautiful thing of being plugged into a market center. That is your team. If you have a personal one, you can do that. So you're going to give them a reason to call you back. And here's actually one of the most important elements of a good voicemail. Give them a specific time. Call me back today by 6. Karina looks like she's having an aha moment. True story. I was shadowing an inside sales agent one day, and on every voicemail, she said, I look forward to hearing from you by 11 a.m. Now, as I'm shadowing her, I was wrestling with, that's a weird time. Should I tell her to make it end of the day? It's just kind of weird. And I decided to say nothing and see what happened. Do you know people called her back? And even after 11, they apologized that they did not call her back by 11 a.m. I heard it as I shadowed her. Hey, I'm so sorry. I just got your voicemail. I know it's after 11. It's because she gave him a deadline. So voicemails, again, that's a full hour. If you're wondering about this class, I'll tell you real quick what it is and we'll get back to content. But it's the class called Mastering Inside Sales. It's for agents and inside sales agents. Inside sales is just lead generation, lead conversion, right? So if you are an agent and you talk to leads on the phone, you are doing inside sales for a portion of your day. So the class is called Mastering Inside Sales. You just go to masteringinsidesales.com and the next class launches in 6 weeks. And we already are accepting enrollment, okay? But we spend a whole hour on voicemails. You just got the quick flyover. Cool, everybody good so far? Give me a thumbs up. I'm a feedback person. Cool. And it looks like Angel just put the link to that class in the chat box. Every class is recorded. So if you miss a class, you can watch it playback. So if you're concerned about schedule. Okay. I'm checking the chat box. Okay. So let's keep going. And we're going to talk through how do you go deep into a conversation if they say, oh, well, I was thinking about downsizing, but I've changed my mind. That would be a common response, right? So I'm calling an older lead. Well, yeah, back then I was thinking about downsizing, but I changed my mind. What you want to do, and this is not on a slide, it's more of a soft skill that I'm teaching you. This isn't like all just head knowledge here. So it's more just pay attention to the science of this. The key to having a good conversation is take a word that they just said and turn it into an open-ended question. Open-ended means it is not a yes or no. So let me ask all of you, I haven't even really taught you open-ended questions yet, but I think a lot of you know what that is. Would you put in the chat box, they just said I want to downsize, I wanted to downsize. What would be a good open-ended question about their motivation using the word downsize in the question? Henry says, why would you want to downsize? Yeah, that's open-ended. And it's using their word. Why or how would downsizing help you? That is an excellent question. Nice job. Downsizing, what makes you want to do that? Nice job, Stephanie. Let's see, the chat box. I love your interaction today, by the way, it's great. Why is downsizing important to you? Yes, all of those are open-ended using their word downsizing. Here's the thing, guys. When you use their word in your next question, that is building massive rapport. There are people in the class telling me, and some of you are here, feel free to use the chat box or speak up if you've had this experience, but people will say, man, the feedback I'm getting from clients is they've had other realtors call them and I am the only one that they wanted to talk to. And the client won't always know why. It's almost like, man, a lot of people have called me and you're the only one I've wanted to talk to. But what we know is it's because we're mirroring and matching their words. So if they say, I want, well, I was thinking about moving closer to work, but it's kind of on the back burner. Okay, well, what would moving closer to work? What would moving closer to work do for you? And now we're building rapport and I'm getting deeper into their motivation. Here's the biggest thing that I want to say about questions. And this is really important with any lead that's not hot right now. Any lead, I don't care where they came from. They could be an expired, they could be an internet lead that came in 5 minutes ago. They could be a lead from your database that's 5 years old. Anybody that at one point expressed interest and says, yeah, I kind of put that on the back burner. You have to take them to their motivation. If you focus on, why is it on the back burner? What made you change your mind? You're basically saying, feed me all of your reasons you don't want to do it. And you're making the conversation harder now because they just reminded you and themselves why they don't want to do it. So the analogy I'll give you, if you've been in class, you've heard this before. But imagine Thanksgiving is coming up, right? Which is shocking. It's almost next month. I cannot believe it. So Thanksgiving is coming up, and I want you to imagine maybe you have a teenage girl in your family, and she'll be at Thanksgiving. And she sits down and she's like, I just broke up with my boyfriend. He is such a jerk. I don't know why I ever was with him. Well, if you said to her in that exact moment where she's just venting, you're like, hey, when do you want to get back together with your boyfriend? Or why don't you want to be with your boyfriend? All that's going to do, what do you mean, when do I want to get back together with him? I just told you I broke up with him. I just told you I don't want to. But if you instead said, man, I mean, at some point, you liked the guy. I mean, when you started dating him 6 months ago, what made you want to date him to begin with? And she expresses, well, he held the door for me at school, and he's so funny, really attractive. He's smart. Pretty soon she's going to be boo-hooing in the mashed potatoes, right? And because she reiterated, Karina, I love your expressions, because she reiterated why she used to be interested in him, it reminded her of all of that, right? And now when you say, well, when would you like to get back together with him? Can you see how she's emotionally going to be way more interested in having that conversation? But when we call a cold lead and they say, I'm not interested. Oh, well, when would you want to do it? Or what changed your mind? We're not getting them to remember why it was important to them in the first place. So the main thing I want you to get from today's webinar is, well, it's really two things. Open the call using that opener I gave you, because it will help remove some objections and questions and get you in rapport pretty quick. And the second thing I want you to remember, if you only take, in fact, this is even bigger than the first thing. If this is the one thing you take, you have to emotionally get them reinvested in their original reason why. And when you get really good at doing that, you will start converting a lot of these older leads and not be awkward about it. Because think of it this way, all of you are a real estate coach. You're all coaches. Your job is to listen to what people want and then help them get it. So find out why they wanted it a year ago, 5 years ago, 6 months ago, and then start talking about how do we move forward? Okay. So that was a lot of information. We wanted to give you everything we could in 30 minutes. Did everyone get at least one takeaway? Tell me I did my job. Would you put in the chat box what your takeaway was? And while you're doing that, if you liked this and you think, I want more of this, join the class Mastering Inside Sales. Just go to www.masteringinsidesales.com, and that will redirect you to the MAPS site to sign up. So the next class is the first Wednesday in November. That sounds far away. Guys, that's only 6 weeks. It's less than 6 weeks, actually. So masteringinsidesales.com, we have 18 weeks of language patterns. I give you trackers. We go over 4 tracking systems. There's a script partner sign up. So you can find a script partner that's being trained the same way. And we have agents and inside sales agents in that class. We also have rainmakers actually learning it so they can help their class get better, or their team get better. Awesome. So a lot of you say the icebreaker to get into motivation, voicemails. Awesome. Yay. Sounds like you guys got some great stuff today. A lot of you say I'm going to go practice. Carol, yes, get them emotionally reinvested. That's what we have to do. And guys, remember, I don't want to be Pollyanna about this. Not everyone's going to stay on the phone with you. You'll still have people hang up. Who is this? Why? Click. Think about it. It is actually hilarious to me. When I was an inside sales agent, I needed 2 appointments a day. If you actually think about that, it is comical that I would work 8 hours and only have 2 yeses. Do you realize how much rejection I can face in a day? And it's not personal, by the way. But do you realize how many people can tell me no and I still have an absolutely freaking fantastic day? Because I only need 2 yeses in the whole entire day. So the goal here is not to have everyone stay on the phone with you. The goal is to help you have a couple more good conversations in a day or week than you would have had before. Okay. All right, guys, it's been a pleasure being with you. You guys were very interactive. Awesome to see you here today. Go to masteringinsidesales.com for the class. I also have a website with some free, like, previous MAPS webinars that you can go to. Check out the MAPS YouTube page to find previous webinars. And hopefully I will see you today or in November in class, masteringinsidesales.com. All right, bye, guys.